pretty much anything down there. I am curious to see how Gen G, especially starting from the red side here, will deal with the bot lane meta, which has been seeing a lot of bans recently in the first phase.
Ooh, a lot of questions already being answered here. Double bot lane bans. The Kalista, the Varus, both still open. Ashe also still available. We do see the Zeri being taken away. Unsurprisingly, PaCe has really been favoring that as of late. But given that there's so many strong picks still open, it really speaks to me that I think T1 are going to try and look not to match scaling like they've done against some of the weaker teams, but really go all in as Lucian, Kalista, and Varus all still available, and it will be the B1 Lucian to come through here. We'll see how Gen G responds. They've really been liking these Kalista lanes. Might be a fire with fire situation. This would be very much comfort for PaCe. Maybe Milio Aphelios is what they're looking towards here. Something we have seen the Milio come back up, I think with the Smolder it was.
Yeah.
But that's a throwback. That's not something we have seen in recent games.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of like scrims leaking into our pro play. We see a lot of bans towards the Lucian, but we're like, hey, it's not having a lot of success. But on this patch specifically, Lucian Nami is 3-0 together, and it is going to be T1 who do pick that up. So even though it was banned a lot, still seeing a lot of picks and a lot of focus as Jace did go through the draft.
Has been banned a lot. The Lulu makes a ton of sense. We are spared from Zeri Lulu. Instead, we get Aphelios Lulu into Lucian Nami. But the Jace has been banned away already, starting this patch many a time. And it seems like finally Zeus is freed from blinding Aatrox. Now he gets to blind Jace, which is way more fun. And is going to feel great for the top laner of T1. Gets the one trick a different champion. Now, it could, of course, still go to Faker, but expectation is that this does go towards Zeus.
Gragas ban coming through here.
That's maybe a throwback.
Maybe one of the responses that they see very often against the Jace in their scrims and in their practice. And so that's going to be taken off the board already. Would have provided a nice front line alongside of the Rel with that squishy backline. So let's see where this next ban is going to go. I do like the focus on the Vi that has been very top tier in the jungle so far. Didn't see a lot of jungle focus outside of the Sejuani ban. The Nico is available on 14.4. It wasn't in 14.3, so that's a comeback, and they will take that away.
Had to either ban that or Nocturne. Especially with Lucian Nami, I would not have been surprised if T1 would look for that as a mid-jungle core. Nocturne Nico makes it really hard for the Aphelios to play out the game, especially because Lulu does provide a lot of added safety, but not really the way that the Kench does into these big backline ultimates. I actually was wondering whether they wanted to go for something a little bit more out there, say a Malphite or a Wukong. We've actually seen Wukong slowly creep up. Back in top was always a really good matchup in Jace if you could survive till 6.
You know, CHOVY CHOVY used to be one of our mid Cassante players. They could flex it. I'm not saying they're going to, but that could be a nice mind game to start us off on the red side in game number 1 of this series. Jarvan, a favorite of Owner. I think he gets buff on the live patch, but still a decent pick at this point in time, especially into something like an Aphelios that doesn't have a lot of mobility.
It's going to be the mid lane counter pick to come through here. Hwei has been ignored up until this point. LeBlanc and Ahri still both available. Blind LeBlanc to come through here for Faker. What is CHOVY going to pick up into that?
Yeah, I guess maybe expecting the Ahri to come out and...
has to be.
Yeah, just going for the blind LeBlanc, something that can be very safe into a lot of lanes. There is still a bunch of picks you could go for, and both of these mid laners have champion Oceans, so really comes down to CHOVY. And it looks like the Corki is going to be the choice here as the final pick for the side of Gen G.
Corki coming through here for CHOVY. Not something we're going to be super excited about, but in this matchup, definitely going to be an advantage in the early laning pressure to come through here from Faker. Do also expect this to be the AP LeBlanc. Combine that with a Jarvan as well, there actually is an incredible amount of power in that mid-jungle 2v2, whereas Rel Corki, once it gets going, it is extremely strong, but the expectation will be that it is going to take a lot more time to get going. And in general, the Gen G composition, to me, doesn't have any great early game presence to speak of. There's small moments, right? In a great situation, you can get a rail engage with a red-white Aphelios, but that does somewhat rely on T1 not really being ready. So Genji, this is very much their style, very much comfort for them going for these type of team fighting compositions. I think T1, they're going to be happy with this. A lot of backline Fred with that LeBlanc, with that Jarvan, going to make it really hard for PaZe to play out the game, and he is a very important part of this. We'll see if Genji can weather the storm, because T1, they're going to make him work for it.
I really do feel like T1 got an excellently comfortable draft.
Oh, yeah.
This is like they are in their flow state already. They come in onto the blue side. Everything is working together really nicely as a team. The composition works well together. It's comfort picks across the board. And we'll see if they can control that early game, or will Genji scale up as we hop into the Rift for game number 1.
T1, 하나, 둘, 셋.
T1, fighting! Genji, 하나, 둘, 셋. Genji, fighting!
미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
All right. Fans are out in force tonight, as this is a big matchup between T1 and Genji. It's good we get this matchup. We get to practice for the future. Six more that we're going to get in upper finals and grand finals, and then upper finals and grand finals, plus the 2 extra summer round robin matchups.
Surely a team will
미니언들이
rise up and
생성되었습니다.
match them.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it looks like Humilla Esports would be the team to do it, but if they get crushed by T1 as well next week, then I don't have a lot of hope.
Yeah, I do feel like that is gonna happen. We'll see. Maybe a patch can help. No, I don't think a patch is going to be enough. With how both of these two teams are playing right now, it seems hard to imagine. So some of the tech that we see here, PaZe has gone for barrier as well as PTA, so really trying to play more lane dominant on the Aphelios into the Lucian Nami, not wanting to give over control. We know that Lulu can definitely do some early work, but not really where PaZe and Lens have excelled. Then there is also Zeus starting with a Cole here. So really looking to just scale into a big mid-game threat as soon as possible. So we do see the early trading coming through here. And this is why the Lulu, I think, really has risen up in prominence. Even though Milio at time was enough to withstand with the extra range, Lulu, it's just a straight-up lane bully this early on.
Seed level 2 about to be hit here first for the Genji bottom lane, so they're going to move forward. And Slow comes down on the Guma. That's going to force a cleanse and heal already. Of course, LeagueofLegends did heal to try to get in there. And nowadays, it's just so tense down in the bottom lane, especially when you get like 480 carry lanes. But even in lanes like this, at the level 2 marker, you see Genji really trying to put on the pressure.
Both junglers have been spotted on the Raptors, are pathing towards opposite sides. I don't think there's really a great diving opportunity for either, because both or at least the top wave is about to crash for Zeus. Might get a free back out of it. We'll see if he actually takes that or if he tries to play for blades. On the bot side though, LeagueofLegends and PaZe still have the lead in terms of shoving here. And we'll see if they're actually able to coordinate with Canyon. There's a lot of aggressive trading. If the jungler is pathing away from you, that is a risk here from Guma and Karya.
Yeah, especially down a couple summoners, but they do get the barrier out of PaZe, and so that is going to even it up. Of course, Lucian Nami can always be very aggressive. Trying to do that before PaZe gets many items is going to be nice. But so far, things are going pretty well for PaZe and LeagueofLegends. It was kind of crazy, too. We saw the played stats of this split so far. This is Faker's first game of LeBlanc all year, which obviously very well known for this pick. But he's played a lot of other things. The mid lane has had a bunch of strong picks nowadays. It feels like they do have a big impact on the game in general from the mid lane. So definitely a lot of stuff he's been playing with nowadays.
Our meta tyrant was removed, and all of a sudden mid lane is flourishing again. Get to see blind pick LeBlancs. Arias come back, although that's obviously also testament to the buffs that she did receive. And we do see neither jungler really finding any opportunity here. Genji didn't find an opportunity to stack a big wave, so Canyon just ends up backing instead. Same for Owner, although he did put up another Raptor ward, meaning that they should be able to find what will happen to that pathing of Canyon. The first plate is taken here by PaZe and lands. Owner Owner looking for someone, but there is a ward in the tri-brush, so... And with flashes still available especially, I think Pays and Lands are still going to feel quite safe. We don't see any action just yet.
Yeah. As Zeus, 24-7 on the Jace. Definitely one of our guys that will blind pick the Jace and be very happy to go for it. As we have aggression, the flash bubble gonna get a flash out of LeagueofLegends. As Owner was making his presence felt in the bottom lane. Gonna free up Guma and Keria to go for a back because they were kind of struggling in the health department, and they will elect for a back now.
Big thing there is that both of these supports are really juicy targets now that especially when the ultimates are available for both junglers. Engage for either bot lane here is kind of conditional. You know, it's really hard outside of landing a bubble specifically. You can't start a fight the way you do with something like a Nautilus whenever you please. But both Owner's ultimate, once he has it available now, is just going to guarantee trap lands. No way out for him. Same for Keria. Without a Flash, Canyon does have a great opportunity to get on top of this Nami, as we do have the jungle or the Dragon Rider being started. Pace is on the back. So will Keria. Owner, yeah, he had an inkling. I think Canyon actually showed up there, and they're going to say thanks for the leash. Will be a big win if Genji can get an early Dragon here, given that they do have a composition that scales very comfortably, courtesy of Pays and LeagueofLegends in his bot side.
Yeah, even a singular Mountain Dragon, it's not going to feel amazing for the squishies, but for Cassante and Rel, they're going to obviously love that one. So early objectives going the way of Genji, as CHOVY's just not allowing Faker to go back. This has been denied a couple of times already. So bottom lane going pretty swell. The jungle obviously going in favor of Canyon so far, and the mid lane as well. It's pretty even at this point. I mean, it is a quirky, but Faker is slightly behind in terms of CS. 86% win rate on this one. Part of the reason why I was surprised that this is his first time playing it this year, as he has a 16 win streak, played it 9 times in 2022 spring.
Yeah, it's not bad. Faker's LeBlanc, definitely the thing of legends. Cool to see it come back here again. I was about to go and talk about T1. The fact that they don't necessarily need to completely take over the game in laning phase.
All right. Well, we did just have an in-game visual bug. No big deal. And we are right back into the action. As once again, here in this game, T1 with a very slight lead in terms of gold, but overall a very even game, and Genji did just get a couple of objectives, so feeling pretty good about picking up that early Mountain Drink.
As mentioned, T1 are going to be looking to accelerate the game. Not that they don't have a decent amount of power in the later stages of the game when it comes to things like the Jace. Having a ton of range can be really tough to play into. The engage is good, but it is just Owner who, as the game progresses, might struggle as big bubble.
Yeah, even the barrier out of P's as well, and the second that goes down, immediately Guma is just gonna fire forward and do a bunch of damage. So big win for T1 on the bottom side.
Guma dinked 6 right there. If he had more mana, I wouldn't have been surprised if he looked for an all-in there, but they didn't want to risk it. They also knew that Canyon was towards the bot side of the map, did sneak away a red buff there. Owner now 6 as well, but the flash on LeagueofLegends still down. That is big. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Owner try and make a visit, as we have a possible topside gank here.
Yeah, we did just see Keen kind of bait that one out. Now we have the Ghost coming out, all out used as well, and Zeus not going to be able to flash away from this one. It's first blood given over to Keen in the top lane. Excellently set up.
Very straightforward. Not a lot of counterplay to that one. The moment that he starts the CC chain, Keen with his all out. No way for Zeus, as Canyon then follows up with a Q, finds W, doesn't even need to invest his ultimate. Gonna be a big win, allowing Keen to more handily shrug off the damage that Zeus is gonna be capable of. And this early game thus far, really going Genji's way. Wonder what the soul is gonna be. Orcs is here, so we should be safe.
Yeah, should be. I mean, look at the way he handles this, though. Pushes away, baits him in, there's no vision. And leading with all out means he's just dead.
Really nicely done. No opportunity for Zeus to outplay that one, except not be up. But with Jace, you're always going to want to try and play as aggressive. Also, by itself, not necessarily a cause for concern. Zeus does have the Cole, also was able to pick up an early plate and does have a CS lead. Because, uh-oh.
Zeus did hold on to his flash from the last gank. Might have to use it here. As Smite's going to come down. That is a miss on that one. He does elect to just knock him away. And there's the flash, but he uses it right into the W of the Cassante. And he is just absolutely dead as the return gank comes through from Canyon, and it is absolutely successful.
T1 better hope. The O2 power spike holds up as well on Jace as it does on Aatrox. Because right now, Genji going to be feeling amazing. Canyon, first item, Knight's Vow, spending the gold from that assist. And I have no doubt that that's going to be put straight on top of Pace in an attempt to keep that man alive. Corki obviously also really essential to the damage profile of Genji, but he is Corki, so his life is a lot easier. Early game looking great here for Genji and T1. No cause for grave concern, but I do think they have to start either stacking dragons, pick up some early grubs when they respawn, or get towards a Herald. Because if they just let this game go to mid to late with Genji in their pure comfort zone, with great engage, and a Felios Corki. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know that one.
I mean, there have been like back and forths in the bottom lane and stuff, but the early game impact from Canyon has been huge. Speaking of which, he comes down bot to give Knight's Vow, and also just to make his presence felt, as they are going to try to make a play for this dragon, no doubt, here in 12 seconds. CHOVY has the package. And this should be a pretty nice setup for Genji, you would imagine. Especially with the backing here of Guma and Keria, taking a massive amount of damage just to try to fight for a control ward. Not going to feel good about that one.
Canyon starts it up now with package available. We'll see if T1 actually wants to go for this. Due to the ganks, Keen already sitting on a completed item, as well as the steel caps. Quite strong. Owner might look for a steal here.
Yeah, Faker backing on a ward, but CHOVY actually stopped his back, so Faker's like, maybe we just try to stop this one as the tidal wave comes through. It's a Rel. You're never going to steal that one away. And there you go. It's another Drake over to Genji. We have Ocean Soul coming through. And the Ocean Rift, but still Genji got to be happy about stacking those early Drakes.
CHOVY not taking any risks there. Obviously didn't know whether or not Owner was in the brush, so uses his package defensively.
Fight this a little bit, but you see Owner uses combo just for harass rather than going in, so not committing to this one.
Yeah, I don't think going for the double sums, Wildgrove, Knight fouled up pays when they know and Rel is there really is the way to go. So they decide the better of it. Already early Drake stacking for Genji. I was really going into this game thinking that Genji should be happy if they are able to get a single Drake. Let alone two. Ocean Soul, not going to be the most relevant, although Cassante obviously does enjoy some Ocean Souling from time to time. And for T1, it would actually be quite good to deal with some of the Corki poke if they can pick up multiple of these Drakes as...
Oh, there's the Gravitum. And a TP behind them. Guma and Keria in so much trouble as Guma will be left to the fishes. They give this kill to Paze as well. And look at this. Zeus nearly dies. We do have Owner up in the top lane, but I don't think you're ever getting Keen in the second. Gets the max range knockup. And Keen in the 1v2 picks up his third kill.
You're not allowed to win both sides of the map at the same time. It's not a thing, Veldis.
Genji are redefining what is a thing right now in this game, I think.
Oh, that is painful. Not only, so started up on the bot side, great ult from Pace, sets up for Canyon. They're able to take down Guma, but then simultaneously, Keen turns around a 1v2. He's 2 levels up. This is a fed Cassante. And I was like, why don't we get something cool? Why don't we get Malphite? He doesn't need Malphite, clearly, as all starts off with the purple ultimate here. The TP as well. I don't even know if they needed to invest that, but because Faker is on the back, not able to get any pressure in mid, CHOVY doesn't really end up paying for it. And then Keen going in here is definitely a big risk, but you know what?
It's just hilarious, especially Cassante getting extra tankiness. That was a very nice play, by the way, to finish it off. From Keen, Zeus not respecting the range of the Cassante in the all-outs. But he's just so tanky. Like, Zeus does 0 damage. He almost did negative damage to Keen. He's lethality into Iceborne Gauntlet, plated steel gaps. Cassante, who's up a level. You're not gonna kill him.
And Owner is also AD.
Yeah.
You know, Jarvan's passive, it's nice, but it's not going to help you get through that. And Gen G just completely running away with the early game with a composition that has a scaling advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember the old days of just going for like Zeri and an Azir, and you just win the early game anyway, and
Yeah.
yeah, I remember a certain team that was pretty good at doing that,
They were.
and kind of doing it here.
In
is
many
Gen G.
iterations as well. This goes back to like 2021.
Yeah. So now Faker gonna match Keen, who doesn't have a lot of MR, but I don't think he really cares, because the Cassante is so large. I mean, this guy is gigantic at this point.
T1 have gotten one grub. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, they got a plate, I guess, on top side. I don't know about the bot side plates, but I do know that Zeus got one. That's about it, though.
Yeah, doesn't really count for much at all. And you see CHOVY up a level as well. He did have to go for the Hex Drinker first into the LeBlanc, but other than that, he is very happy about his current state. He does have the most farm on the map. And Lehens is in a very awkward spot. He is Lulu, so maybe he just is fine. He will win the trade with Redemption for now, as Wild Growth does have to be used. Faker flashing the wall to get away from Canyon, as it did kind of turn into a bit of a bait. Lions did have to use Redemption and Wild Growth, but they get the flash out of Faker.
Gonna take that trade any day of the week. Faker, of all people, should know how dangerous Lulu is. Just not able to get a lot done, and so much of this is T1 trying to go for a counterpunch.
Yeah, not sure if this is really going to amount to too much, as immediately TP comes in from CHOVY, and that will be stifled.
Oh, he doesn't have TP now for the next dragon. And he's not super strong, only sitting on a not finished yet, or not transformed rather, yet Mana Mune, as well as a Hex Drinker. We'll see if Gen G wants to go hard, because they can also just let this go. They can say, hey, you have your one item spikes, you have a really strong brawling composition. We're just going to let this one slide. I got an inkling that they're not going to do that, though, because Keen is backing, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to finish at least another component. And this 3-0 Cassante with almost a frozen heart.
Yeah.
It'd be tough to deal with.
I mean, for anyone who's AD, which is 3 people on the side of T1, like, Faker is not in a fed position, and yes, they nearly take Lehens' head off, but he's got heal, he's got his redemption back, does not have wild growth, and will have wanted to use that here on one of his other members of his team. T1 still wrapping around, trying to contest this. CHOVY with the package here as well. Faker trying to bait this one out early as some poke does come out. Canyon looking for the engage. They get the cleanse out of Guma as package immediately out of Faker. He's in so much trouble. Look at his health bar on the top side. Down he goes as the turret will help them out. And Faker immediately is taken down. That'll be a third Drake going to Gen G as T1 will give up on it. And they're looking for a bit more. I mean, Guma's taking maximum damage here as a cube comes down. Guma not going to get all outed here by Keen.
No.
And Keen takes 0 damage, right? He's taking negative damage. He has so much armor.
Keen's not even remotely impressed. And going into this fight, I really want to give credit where credit is due. One part of how oppressive Gen G's early game has been Canyon is ganks. But Faker being lane locked by CHOVY is so big here, because CHOVY's been able to just get through this lane for free, gets an absolutely monstrous pass to that's with Lehens being almost 100 to 0 to the start of that fight. And it just doesn't matter. He positions safely.
Yeah.
Keen, as mentioned, does not, in fact, take damage. The only person who could, in any universe, damage him died at the start of the fight.
Yeah. Died to package. I mean, Faker just got hit by the slow, and at that point, like, we're going to see this 1v1 again, I guess, although Faker not spotted. But kind of an interesting spot to challenge CHOVY, who's up a level with Maw complete.
Yeah, you don't... That's not...
That ain't it.
That's not happening. Now Gen G has Soul Point. 19 minutes in, with a Corki who just transformed his second item.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy that we came into this game 1, and I was looking at this T1 comp, and I'm like, they should feel so comfortable. And then Canyon was just like, nah.
Nah.
No, I don't think so, actually. Let me just end this early game in our favor. And it wasn't just a small lead, it's now a bit of trading here on an owner, but they're not going to commit onto a Jarvan. As Rift Herald also coming down, maybe trying to make a play here for this mid-tier 1. See how far they go with this one.
Keen, who I thought was going to be one of the biggest weak points here, just because of how good Zeus has been. Just with the help of Canyon, has been able to do so much work.
Tidal Wave coming in, also committing onto Keen. I mean, you just immediately die. That's never going to work as desperation from T1, and Genji immediately put that one down as 5 members here in the mid lane just continuing to pressure up, but they run out of a wave. Zeus is going to miss the shock blast, and Genji just going to run away from this one, but look at the control that they have. They don't necessarily have to run away from this one unless they want to go towards that Baron. As even at this point, could consider it, but they're just going to back away from it for now.
He just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like,
no, he doesn't take damage. Like, why even fire the shock blast at him?
guys, yeah, this is the
Don't even bother.
They just used Scryers just to make sure that they're not doing the objective. Even we're literally right at the spawn.
Yeah,
It's
but again,
20 minutes.
They definitely could.
Definitely could. But that alone, I predicted Genji expecting them to have an edge in team fights and mid to late. The game
flattening T1 where T1 is strongest.
Yes, and the game isn't over. T1 have been able to make miracles happen, to find incredible team fights. But that has been against teams that aren't Genji. And these engages do not give me a lot of faith, Valdez.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even really understand what the goal of that was there. I mean, you're not going to save the turret. You're not going to deal damage ulting a Cassante.
Pace has Collector now.
It's never going to work. As Owner now in a bit of trouble, they are keeping hold of this river. There's one ward that someone put down there in the river that should give them a bit of information, but at this point, Genji have a chokehold on this part of the map.
Canyon really seems to have taken to heart the fact that jungle is actually support. Support is the role that gets resources. And you are a utility bot. So he bit the bullet. I don't love Formula here. I don't feel like it's actually needed. Would have much rather seen a different tank item as opposed to Formula item.
Yeah, like Locket, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Tank support item.
Looking at what T1 have, I don't think the Grievous Wounds really is of that much value. I feel like you get more value out of even something like a Rend Wins, especially with Rel being able to utilize the slow offensively. But at the same time, as long as Pace stays alive, they're going to be fine, and Chovy's about to hit his 3rd item spike.
Yeah.
Not going to have it for the fight, but this is T1's final stand. If they don't win this fight, if the Mountain Soul goes over to Keen, who is 3-0 and already has 2 items finished, like he's never going to die. It's Lucian and LeBlanc.
Yeah. They already don't deal damage. The Ocean Soul is going to help out even more. And you see that Genji is setting up for this one. Keen in the top side. And yes, they can deal damage to the squishies. You see that T1 are trying to do that, but you get close to the sun, probably going to get burned, as we did see there. Keen is going to TP pretty early on this one. He's going to take a decent amount of damage. Got to be careful about just taking free damage after all. As I think that was a shock blast into Keen. I don't even see his health bar move. Redemption was used early, but now Keen in the front line. Faker trying to get some poke down. Has a ton of damage already in Owner. He's just going to get burst down. Immediately the package comes out as Guma burst to a crisp in the back line. As one missile could do it, but they don't even really care about him. They take away Zeus from the map. And Guma is just trying to survive here for as long as possible. One auto would do it. And I think CHOVY, yeah, he's just going to clean that one up. Doing the most damage at only 2,800, and it is a massive wipe in favor of Genji.
No one on Genji has died yet!
Yeah.
What is happening?
It's, Genji are just kind of stomping.
They are just... This is... Whew. Okay, so the poke lends somewhat redemption from Lahans, which he did rush, actually does a lot of heavy lifting. But T1, they know they need to get this soul. Pace gets taken out of the fight, at least for a little bit, by the combination of Guma, but then Keen just deals with multiple people. Owner goes in completely disjointed from the rest of the team because he desperately needs to try and steal a soul against the Rel, which obviously isn't happening. And at this point, T1 is so far behind that they just don't have the item breakpoints. They don't have the advantage that they need with this comp to get anything going.
Yeah. And you see Gen G, they are a pretty thick death ball. They're very tanky with the Rel in the front line over there with the Lulu to back it up. And then you've got a nice amount of poke and siege if you do want to go ahead and do that as a 4-man unit. Zeus just kind of desperately pushing an outer on the bottom side of the map. I mean, Gen G trying to just utilize their Baron buff here. Already 2,000 gold in the lead. But he will pick up at least the objective bounty. The fact that there is an objective bounty kind of shows you where this game is at, as CHOVY is 3,500 gold ahead. And that's only CHOVY.
That's just CHOVY. That's a full item! Has Malignant's done now as well?
Hey, that's like 1.5 Frozen Hearts, man.
Koenig Rooker now done for Keen. I could see angles before that dragon fight for T1. Not great angles, you know. I had to stretch it, but
yeah, it's like a two.
you gotta give
degree angle.
Yeah, it's T1. You gotta give him the benefit of the doubt. Now though, there's no angles. If it wasn't Gen G, if this was like DK that somehow got themselves in this position, I'm like, they'll find a way. But it's Gen G. Gen G does not lose from these positions. And how could they when they have a core key that's 3.5k gold up? Really, the hardest thing now is...
Oh boy, he's just going for it, man. He's just Valkyrieing forward, looking for kills. He's like, 4 is not enough. And yeah, I mean, T1 desperate to just try to get anything, but they are going to lose this inhibitor as Gen G storm through the front gates. They get the mid-inner as well. And, I mean, at this point, Faker just going to try to TP in, but it is maximum desperation as Keen's going to get that knock up here onto Faker. He's in a bit of trouble as 1v5 is doing more damage. The massive engage comes in immediately from Canyon, and they all get blown to smithereens as right through the front door, Gen G going to win this game in 27 minutes.
No deaths!
It's over. No deaths. 12 kills, make it 13. This first game is an absolute flattening from Gen G. As CHOVY's gonna pick up his 7th kill. They wanna get him legendary. It's not gonna happen, they don't care. GG as Gen G take the first win in excellent fashion.